I started as project manager, which meant that when Community Access acquired a site and was going to, in the beginning, we just renovated buildings. There were a lot of vacant buildings that we could get from the city. Access House, it was a gut rehab. I came to Community Access in 1988. The construction actually was finishing up at that point, but I was involved in, just closeout things with legal documents and various things that have to get done because it was funded by HUD, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It had nice old details on the outside, so when you see it, again, it just still fits in the neighborhood. We didn't tear it down. We kept the old brick. So I think it's a nice looking building. The Avenue D building is at the corner of 8th Street and Avenue D. Had been abandoned also for years. Had been an old apartment building, a tenement building. The roof was gone. There were holes in the floor. So we could keep the outside. There really wasn't anything left in the interior they could keep. But we built studio apartments because it wasn't licensed housing. It wasn't a group home. People had their own lease and their own bathroom and their own kitchen, however tiny it might be. So one of my favorite buildings was Gouverneur Court. So we acquired that in the early 90s. It was just a beautiful old hospital. It was the first hospital for immigrants on the Lower East Side. It's on Water Street. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. But then it had been vacant for many years, and it had totally gone to ruin. And it had holes in the floor. The roof was gone. Most of the roof was gone. So we were able to acquire that with the HPD, New York City Housing Preservation and Development, and renovate it. Gouverneur Court has a beautiful backyard because it's right by the FDR. It's like a walled sort of private garden, and Brooke Astor had a foundation and she paid for the fountain. One of my favorites was Cedar Avenue, which is in the Bronx. It's a very large building. I think it just looks very nice, and the apartments were larger. And it's a mix. It's families, 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, studio apartments with a nice social services office downstairs. In our buildings, especially the later buildings, we built gardens. It's very important that you had a space, and we'd hire a landscape architect and have seating areas, but also beds with flowers and perennials so that people could go out and sit. And then, people would have barbecues out there. It was just, I think it made such a nice difference to be able to have, it's a luxury in New York to have a building with a garden. I was involved in 16 buildings while I was at Community Access. The first one was Access House, where I came in at the end, and the last one was 176th Street in the Bronx, where I left, unfortunately, before it was finished. I was hoping to still be around. I think they finished up in 2018, and I retired in 2017. I do love all the buildings. I think they look nice, and I am proud of them. And they're still there, and they're still housing people.